The halving.
The halving.
The halving.
The halving's a huge deal.
Last summer, while on a long and winding road trip across America, I stumbled upon this Bitcoin farm in Wisconsin. I even made a video about it. And now that the halving is officially here, it's time to revisit Bitcoin Nick and the gang for another exciting adventure and update. Only this time, I'm bringing a cute dog along with me. What is the halving, or as some like to call it, the halvening?
The halvening.
The Bitcoin halvening.
What does it mean for miners like these guys, and what does it mean for investors? Let's find out.
What is this?
There appears to be an event happening.
Come and take a little trip with me. Come on, hop in the car, sit on down, get comfy, and let's head back to Wisconsin. But we better get moving because starting from Tampa, Florida, it's gonna be a very, very long drive. Goodbye, Florida. I will miss you and all your beautiful sunshine. I spent the winter hibernating in Florida, and while I love this state, it is beautiful, the weather is great. Oh my gosh, the traffic is horrific. It is some of the worst I've seen anywhere in the country outside of LA and Chicago, but it's beautiful and there's palm trees. Anyway, before we head all the way to Wisconsin, we need to make a little detour and pick up a few friends.
Welcome to Georgia.
I tried to get a good shot of the North Carolina sign, but I got this shot instead, so here we are.
What are you guys doing in there?
After a lovely 10-hour drive from Tampa, I stopped by to kidnap this very cute dog and his owner, my buddy Mike, to try and keep me sane and entertained for the rest of this grueling 1,000-mile, 16-hour-long journey.
Where are we going, buddy?
And since we have a bit of a drive ahead of us, let me tell you a little story along the way about my history with Bitcoin and how it pretty much ruined my life. Okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but I'm a little bit salty about this whole crypto thing, and here's why. You see, back in the early 2010s, I was working as a financial copywriter in the advertising business. And basically our job was to sell people financial advice, and my bosses were these financial guru guys with PhDs in economics and multi-million-dollar portfolios, and I asked them, when Bitcoin was affordable, should I buy this stuff? Should I get involved with this stuff? And they said no. They said stay away from it, it's a scam, it'll ruin you. And I listened to them. Like I said, this was the early 2010s, and I can't remember exactly what Bitcoin cost, but it was affordable, and I was making good money. I could have bought at least a couple of them, and that might have changed my entire life.
Getting loopy now. Too much time on the road. Like, I want to die.
Where are we? Are we in Wisconsin? So instead of being a Bitcoin bajillionaire, I'm just a broke YouTuber who travels around the country making videos.
3 days ago I was in Tampa. Now there's fucking snow on the ground.
But before we dive into this Bitcoin farm and ask its owner about the halving, let's define what the halving is.
You know, this halving thing, explain to the audience, or at least let's try to explain to the audience what it is.
Bitcoin, it's designed to mimic precious metals in that the more you mine it, the more difficult it becomes to mine.
The halving's a huge deal. So just to be clear, everyone is aware of the fixed supply of Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million.
21 million. That is the total number of Bitcoins that can ever exist. And over 19 million of those have already been awarded. The halving is the mechanism designed to create scarcity and control Bitcoin's limited supply. It happens every 4 years, and when it does, all future block rewards are cut in half.
The supply will be shrunk. We will have less Bitcoin entering in after April 20th, but the demand is at an all-time high.
According to the mainstream media, like this Forbes article says, by lowering the supply, some expect the 2024 halving will drive demand for Bitcoin and therefore its price, which sounds great for investors, but what does it mean for miners?
Just got to Wisconsin after driving for over 16 hours.
from North Carolina, and it is snowing. This is Nick's place, who I first met last year when Mike was contracted to help set up his new Bitcoin farm, and I tagged along for the ride. Like I said, I've been aware of Bitcoin for a long time, but I never knew much about the mining process, which is why I really enjoy making these videos and learning more about it. And that's what brings us all the way back to this beautiful little Midwestern town. Mike's here to install a few important upgrades to the building's ventilation system so things stay nice and cool heading into summer. And I'm here to help. We'll also be doing some electrical work to upgrade the power situation and get as many ASIC machines up and running as possible, starting by wiring these PDUs directly into the ceiling because Nick and his partners didn't want to spend the money on female plugs. So, with money already tight and the halving set to cut the amount of Bitcoin these machines can produce by half, why are miners like this spending on upgrades at all?
It will become much more difficult for miners to produce new coins.
After the halving, margins will be cut overnight by 50%.
So the supply, the forced sellers, those that pay money to produce Bitcoins, which then have to sell it to pay for their costs, that's going to be halved. And so the really simple way to think about it, Ed, is if demand remains the same and the Bitcoin sold gets cut in half, it should have an impact on the price to the upside.
And you can learn a lot from watching what the miners are doing going into the halving. And they've been investing, so they've obviously been betting on betting their businesses on the price of Bitcoin going up, and it looks like they're about to win their bet.
So, supply gets cut in half and demand stays the same. Makes sense that the Bitcoin price goes up after each halving, but will that trend continue?
The halving is coming up right around on 4/20 this year of 2024. The supply, I think, is getting cut in half from 6.25 to 3.125. So, I mean, Bitcoin is up right now, so miners are making money, but yeah, the amount of Bitcoin they're getting is going to get cut in half. So to put it in number terms, like, I think an S19 is making like $10 a day right now, and it's costing like $8 at our rate. So in a month, we're going to go from making $10 a day to $5 a day, but the cost is still $8. So we're going to go from making money to losing money. So that means either the price of Bitcoin has to go up to keep us in profit, or miners need to go down, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. So it can kind of be like a reckoning event, because miners are forced with a tough decision. They either have to have cash reserves to get through the downtime until, you know, Bitcoin can go up again, which usually it does go up after a halving cycle, usually within 6 months, but they got to be able to pay the bills until then. So.
But truth be told, Nick's making big bucks mining altcoins at the moment, which can be done with GPUs like this. He even partially heated his home GPU mining this winter, which is convenient. But too bad his crypto obsession can't help him change a lint trap.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
It's a fucking taco worth, man.
How long does that have to go for?
And I haven't done a lot of work.
How's the mine going to be profitable if your profits get cut in half?
Yeah, it won't.
Very thin margins.
Well, that's the thing. If you're at 9 cents electric, it's not profitable. 9 cents means we're costing around $8 a day. If you were at like 5 cents electric, your cost is still like $4 a day. So when you get cut from $10 a day profit down to 5, if your cost is 4 instead of 8, you can still make money. So it just makes it more competitive. There are people out there that'll still be making money, but not us. So then it pushes small miners to shut down and get eaten up by big miners, basically, which access a cheaper electric, and you consolidate a little bit more. Or yeah, the price has to go up. It's kind of like a commodity. You know, it's supply and demand. The supply is getting reduced. So in theory, that should raise the price if the demand stays steady. But we'll see. You know, it's not 100% sure. But in theory, those are the market forces that'll push it up.
A little bit cold, a little bit snowy. It's all good, man. Welcome back to Wisconsin. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little adventure and maybe even learned a thing or two. I know I did. But it's time for us to hit the road. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.